Welcome to Around San Diego. So glad to have you with me. I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day. I'll get you caught up on a week's worth of news and look ahead in just 30 minutes. We do begin, though, with the heartbreaking discovery of that missing Titanic submarine expedition. 5 people were on board. The Coast Guard officials described the tragedy Thursday as a catastrophic implosion of the vessel, giving the crew inside little, if any, warning. Deep dives in submersibles are common for military personnel and researchers, some who work right out of San Diego. CBS 8's Jesse Cajon has a deep sea researcher's perspective on just what may have happened here.
One of my early impressions was, I think something happened to the sub, and if that's the case, they're done.
As soon as Dr. Michel Boudria heard the news, his experience led him to a grim conclusion. Dr. Boudria is now an associate professor of environmental and ocean sciences at the University of San Diego, but for years he was a deep-sea biologist and went on 5 submersible dives.
I mean, when we were doing our research submersible dives, there was somebody at the surface calling continuously. We have a record, every hour there's a check.
He says the approach to everything is safety and communication first, with gauges, monitors, and alarms keeping tabs on pressure, oxygen levels, and more.
I don't know of any submersible that does this in a serious way that does not have all the systems there and then a completely double set of systems for virtually everything.
But even so, he says a failure as small as a pinhole in the hull could prove deadly, and it's what he thinks likely happened to the Titan.
It's an instantaneous thing. The pressure from the outside comes in, and it basically collapses the metal. You get the impact of an implosion. Like when you see a building collapse, right? They implode these buildings. It's kind of that same perspective.
Yeah, just truly horrific. Jesse, thanks for that insight. Well, now closer to home in East County, where authorities are investigating after 2 adults were found dead inside their El Cajon home by their young daughter. The San Diego Sheriff's Department says the call came in just after 9:45 Thursday morning. The 12-year-old told dispatchers that she found both of her parents lying dead in their bedroom in the 200 block of East Bradley Avenue, with her 2 younger siblings still inside the home. Thankfully, they are okay. Deputies say the bodies did have blunt force trauma, and right now they are investigating the deaths as suspicious. Of course, stay with CBS8.com for developments. Another tough one, a mother whose children were killed after running into highway traffic pleaded not guilty to DUI and 6 child endangerment charges. The district attorney says on Father's Day, 33-year-old Sandra Ortiz was arrested after 2 of her kids were killed trying to fetch luggage that apparently had fallen off of their car on State Route 78. Investigators say her blood alcohol level was nearly 2 times the legal limit. CBS 8's Abby Black has more from the Vista Courthouse following an emotional day in court.
My baby.
Behind a plexiglass wall, chained and handcuffed, 33-year-old Sandra Ortiz sobbed uncontrollably during her arraignment, where she's charged in the death of her 2 children, 16-year-old Amy and 10-year-old Alan.
The defendant was driving with a blood alcohol level of 0.14 while having her 6 children unsecured, unseatbelted in the car. Driving under the influence is in and of itself a public safety concern.
The deputy district attorney says on Father's Day, Ortiz pulled partially over on State Route 78 in Vista when the luggage fell off from the roof of their SUV. Amy and Alan ran into traffic to retrieve the luggage and were hit and killed by an oncoming car.
Based on the investigation, it appears that the defendant remained seated in the vehicle and does not appear that the defendant made any efforts to stop the children from exiting the vehicle or to get the children out of the freeway.
Through her tears, you can make out that Ortiz is crying that she's a good mother.
Good mom.
Ortiz is now charged with 6 counts of child endangerment with 2 special allegations connected to the deaths and 2 misdemeanor DUIs. Amy and Alan's 4 siblings witnessed their deaths.
When law enforcement arrived, they detected an odor of alcohol, red, watery eyes, slurred speech, and an unsteady gait.
The children's father, his family, and Ortiz's family were in court but did not want to comment. CBS 8 spoke to the father on Tuesday, who defended the mother.
She has nothing but love for our kids.
Ortiz faced $500,000 bail.
I am going to have Ms. Ortiz released from custody I am going to place Ms. Ortiz on supervised own recognizance release conditions.
Under a protective order, Ortiz cannot see the children unless it's at their sibling's funeral or by telephone.
Don't do anything to hurt my baby.
Yeah, just truly awful. So some of the conditions of her release include that she can't drive, drink, or break any laws, or she will go back to jail. The deputy DA says the family moved here from Arizona in December. They really don't have a stable home, and the children are not yet in school. The children's father is allowed to see them. Ortiz's next court date is June 30th. Now, if convicted, she faces 20 years in prison. Well, a suspect has been arrested in the deadly stabbing of a 65-year-old woman in City Heights on Monday. 23-year-old Silvanis Patafali Hamala was taken into custody at his home. San Diego police believe he randomly attacked the woman who was exercising at the Central Avenue Mini Park. She was found with multiple stab wounds and died at the scene. Right now, Hamala faces 1 count of murder. He's expected in court for his arraignment on Thursday. Police are still asking for additional information, so if you know anything, you are certainly asked to contact police or call Crime Stoppers. And fire crews are working to find the cause of an explosion that happened inside of a Serra Mesa home early Wednesday morning. Calls came in around 4:30 about an explosion and fire at the home. 5 people were inside, and thankfully all were able to make it out alive. Investigators say paramedics rushed 2 of them to the hospital with burns, but they both are expected to be okay. We talked with a man who was inside the home when the explosion went off. He says it was the loudest sound he's ever heard.
Just the biggest boom you can imagine. It just, I can't explain the laying in your bed and all, boom. My ears, I can't believe they have blown out.
Wow, so yeah, the Red Cross is helping the people who lived in that home find a place to stay. We will update you as we learn what caused this explosion. And this year, there's been more than a dozen helicopter rescues on our beautiful hiking trails, and CAL FIRE is urging hikers to be extra cautious. Heavy rains and strong currents at Three Sisters Falls is posing a high risk to swimmers as well. This past month, 2 people died at that popular Julian trailhead. Another concern on trails this time of year is dehydration. An avid hiker of the trail suggests that saving your water for the hike out could be best.
It's very strenuous. If you do it during the day, you're going to be in the dead sun, so that's going to be the hardest time.
Yeah, CAL FIRE also says hikers should be prepared for the hot days and warns to keep the most vulnerable off of the trails, including young children and animals. Well, relatives of a late black businessman, Sidney Cooper, who helped popularize Juneteenth in San Diego, are now suing a cemetery after his remains were reported missing from the family's burial plot. Greenwood Memorial Park and Mortuary informed the family that Sidney Cooper's body and casket were not in the plot where he was supposed to have been buried more than 2 decades ago.
Give us a DNA to prove that that's our father. Lay him to rest with my mother. We are not going to just accept any casket and coffin to be laid on my mother.
Yeah, so we reached out to Greenwood Memorial Park and Mortuary to get answers on how long the site has been empty and what they are doing to locate Sidney's body. They said they are working diligently to confirm his placement and want to reunite them with their loved ones soon. Well, a local dog rescue is pleading with the community to help them care for hundreds of dogs found living in deplorable conditions in Mexico. The dogs were found last week at an Ensenada shelter. CBS 8's Rocio de la Fe has more on the ongoing rescue efforts south of the border.
Rescuers with the animal pad found 400 of these dogs at the property in Mexico last week. More than 200 are still on site. But with limited resources and manpower, the team is asking the community to help them give these dogs a second chance at life.
We're here to give every one of these dogs an actual chance and an actual shot that they never have gotten before.
Rescuers with the animal pad are working around the clock to save a lot of these dogs from death.
We're sad that we couldn't have gotten here sooner.
Around 400 dogs were found at a Mexican shelter. More than 70 have been hospitalized so far. The rescue group has been able to safely remove nearly half of the animals, but 213 are still on the property.
We're here triaging, deciding who needs immediate medical care, who we can treat here on site.
Lauren Botticelli with the nonprofit says the dogs were found malnourished and crammed in cages. Many were suffering from diseases. Others were found too late.
It's just been so many emotions across the board.
Since the discovery, the Mexican government shut down the shelter, but Lauren says the owner of the shelter was never arrested.
That's very frustrating because it makes it a lot easier to just go and do this all over again. And then the rescuers who are having to pick up the pieces of devastation, which is what's happening here.
The animal pad says they're in dire need of volunteers on both sides of the border.
If you can't help in Mexico, you could be helping stateside with these dogs.
They're also in desperate need of fosters who are willing to open up their homes and make space for more dogs to go to their shelter. To find out how you can help, visit our website, cbs8.com, and click on this story. Rocio de la Fe, CBS 8.
Rocio, thank you so much. Well, one of the largest surveys of its kind from UC San Francisco dives deep into why people are homeless in California. According to that survey, the overwhelming majority of people experience homelessness because they can't afford their housing. 9 out of 10 people surveyed were already Californians before they became homeless. To add, half of all people in the U.S. experiencing homelessness are here in California.
The median income for people in the 6 months before they became homeless was $960 for their whole household for the month. They simply couldn't afford to stay housed. That is what is driving our crisis.
Yeah, the study went on to say that 45% of people were actively searching for work. The biggest recommendation from the study to tackle homelessness in California was to build more affordable housing. And right now, some people in Oceanside are worried about the way people are using the pier. Robert Courting, who visits the pier every weekend, has been hit by skateboards that have fallen on their own after the person on them lost control. Courting is presenting his concerns to the Oceanside City Council.
That would solve the problem because skateboarders cannot skate on those boards like that. I know that eventually they want to retrofit this bridge going into the pier, as well as redoing the ramp, but that's down the road. I mean, this is something that's happening now.
Courting is hoping for speed bumps, strips, or tactile paving similar to what you see outside of a grocery store. CBS 8 reached out to Oceanside Police. A spokesperson says they do patrol the area frequently and enforce the no skateboard rule when they see it. Well, Independence Day is about 2 weeks away, and we're working for you, addressing concerns from some viewers over the safety of a patriotic party in La Mesa. Specifically, they're worried about dry brush at Lake Murray, where a 4th of July fireworks show and music fest will be held. We reached out to the event organizer. They tell us that they work closely with park rangers to make sure the brush area is taken care of ahead of time. San Diego fire crews and the fireworks company each then inspect the area. Event organizers say they have a lot of eyes on the ground to make sure that everyone is safe.
I think we have to be careful and take precautions, but I think it's part of what makes this community great, and I think a lot of families are looking forward to it.
Yeah, the city of San Diego manages Lake Murray, and people looking forward to enjoying the show can feel more confident that their concerns are being addressed. Well, Monday marked the first time the city of San Diego honored Juneteenth as an official holiday. Mayor Todd Gloria was joined by city council members at the 4th District Senior Resource Center to commemorate the holiday. Juneteenth is a day to mark the emancipation of enslaved African Americans back on June 19th, 1865. Mayor Gloria says he and the city strive to honor the important moment in American history as well as address community inequities.
What I expect that you'll start seeing is a change in the way we invest in our communities. We're trying to not only serve all neighborhoods well, but take into consideration those historic inequities that have allowed communities like this one to lack park space, to have dirt roads still, to have neighborhoods and communities without any sidewalks. And that's the manifestation of historic inequities that we're now trying to address.
Yeah, the executive director of the Senior Center told us she's been hosting a celebration for Juneteenth for the last 27 years. Well, now to an annual golf tournament that teed off at a course in El Cajon to inspire children and teens in the community on the Juneteenth holiday. CBS 8's Ariana Cohen attended the invitational.
Yes, this is the 13th year of the Golf Invitational. I met with 2 local young men who are competing and say that golf has inspired them to be the best they can be on and off the course. For golfers Gordon Brown and Admiral Lawrence Chambers, age is just a number.
I'm 87 years old.
Wow. Yeah. And Admiral Chambers is 94 years old, but you can't tell by his swing.
I got good at one time, but you know, at this age, just a matter of fact that I can stand up and hit it is a good deal.
Brown was the first African American to win the Camp Leroy Johnson All-Infantry Golf Tournament in 1962. And Admiral Chambers was the first African American to command a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier. They're both here playing at the Singing Hills Golf Resort in an annual tournament named after them to support the nonprofit San Diego Inner City Junior Golf Foundation, founded by Brown and his son.
Showing the children the beauty of it all, that there are other things out there besides football, basketball, baseball, and you can play golf, and yes, everyone can become a Tiger Woods if given the right opportunities.
Mostly it's to promote inner city golf. I mean, it's a great campaign. It's great for the kids. It keeps the kids off of drugs, and it keeps the kids off of the street. So it's a worthy cause.
They not only teach kids golf skills, but life skills too. These teenaged boys have been involved in the program for several years.
It teaches you how to stay calm and control your emotions. People are walking up to me and shake my hand, give me hugs. I'm like, I feel part of the community, you know? I was never on the streets. I was always playing golf, so I feel safe here.
I think it's really important to have programs like this, especially for kids who never really have opportunities.
Proceeds from today's tournament goes towards student scholarships.
Today's kids, you've got to provide something to counter the bullying that's going on in social media. And this is a good way. He can't be on social media when he's out swinging a golf club.
They're always looking for new students to get involved. We've posted a contact link on CBS8.com. Reporting from El Cajon, Ariana Cohen, CBS 8.
I love sharing positive news with you as well. Ariana, thanks. Well, meantime, Tuesday was World Refugee Day, and people across the globe are honoring refugees and highlighting the issues they face every day, including right here in San Diego. CBS 8's Kelly Hessedal has more on a celebration held in La Jolla as we hear the story of one refugee's new life here.
We heard about some of the challenges refugees face starting over in a new country, but we also heard some success stories. I spoke to a young Ukrainian woman who fled her home because of the war and is making a new life for herself here in San Diego.
I came to America by myself, without any friends, without a family.
Olena Kanasik fled her home near Kyiv and moved to San Diego a year ago. She says she's amazed at the kindness of strangers.
It's a huge opportunity to be safe, to be in a good society, because American people, most of them so open for Ukrainian refugee.
Olena's dad serves in the Ukrainian army.
My mom, she came here just to spend a few months with me, but she decided to come back to Ukraine because all her life over there. And she's, my dad and mom, they're together more than 25 years, and it's too hard for them to be separate.
Today, Olena took part in World Refugee Day at the La Jolla Presbyterian Church, the event now in its 23rd year by the local nonprofit Alliance for African Assistance, an organization that helps refugees get a fresh start here in San Diego.
There are over 110 million refugees around the world that are facing difficult times, and this is a day that we need to focus on them, pay attention to what is going on in their life.
Several different speakers shared their stories.
As a refugee myself, I know how war affects people. I know how it leaves a physical legacy in our body, in our mind, and our spirit.
They talked about the challenges they've encountered, the obstacles they've overcome, and the hope they have for the future.
I'm growing every day because I'm studying in college, I'm working, I'm doing a lot of social projects to support my country.
And Elena says she works in marketing now for a production company. She's making new friends. She says she still talks to her family all the time back in Ukraine, and she still misses them and worries about them. But she says she's just so grateful to be here in San Diego. Kelly Hessedal, CBS 8.
Kelly, thanks for shedding some light. Appreciate it. Well, the #1 10-year-old tennis player in the world and one of the top high school tennis players in the state both train at a club in Del Mar. And now that club is opening its doors to kids who might have never even been around tennis before. CBS 8's Anna Laurel joins us from the Surf and Turf Tennis Club in Del Mar.
These courts right across from the fairgrounds have been here for years, but they're newly renovated, which goes with the new vibe here. Fresh, vibrant, inclusive, and open to everyone.
We want tennis to be available for anybody who wants to play. Well done.
When Matthew Jones and Jesse Steinberg took over the Surf and Turf Tennis Center in December, their aim is to help every player here achieve their goal.
Youthfulness, excitement, expectation, big dreams, big visions.
They teach kids as young as 4, and if someone wants to work for a college scholarship, they help them.
I've sent to Stanford, to Texas, to UC San Diego, to Cal Poly, all over the country, yeah.
Right now, the #1 10-year-old in the world trains here. This is Daniel Gardality.
I started playing tennis when I was about 4 years old.
What makes him so good?
I have a very good mental on the court, and I never give up.
Oh, and he says he doesn't get very angry when he makes mistakes.
I guess my best aspect is probably just my my consistency, just fighting spirit, I guess. I just don't go away. I don't remember the last time I've lost a match that it wasn't close.
Robert Friedman is a rising Torrey Pines senior and top college recruit.
SoCal, San Diego specifically, is like one of the hardest sections in the nation. I mean, it's a powerhouse.
The Surf and Turf Tennis guys wanted to feel like a community center where you can play to whatever level you want. And it's not just for people in Del Mar. Everyone is welcome.
Something that's long plagued tennis as a sport is economic barriers to the sport. It's an expensive sport. We want to do whatever we can to break down those barriers.
If it means giving a child a free summer camp or helping a family with lessons through the year, the Surf and Turf Tennis guys say they'll make it happen.
The idea of providing that for a kid that would otherwise not get it is special.
For Daniel, he has big dreams he's already visualizing.
I want to be #1 in the world and win the most Grand Slams.
In Del Mar, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8.
He's got big dreams. We know he can do it. I played tennis my whole life, so that's great to see. Just give everyone an opportunity. Anna, thank you. Well, summer officially started this week, and warmer temperatures can mean higher utility bills. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the average electricity prices are expected to rise about 2% from last year. But right now, we are working for you with ways to help you keep costs down. #1, use cold water when you wash your laundry. The Department of Energy says 90% of electricity used to wash a load goes toward heating the water. Next, raise the thermostat and use a fan. Raising the temperature and using a fan can help you use less energy while running your air conditioning. And #3, switch to more efficient light bulbs. LED bulbs use at least 75% less energy than incandescent lighting. And SDG&E says that it also wants to help San Diegans save money on their electricity bills this summer with its incentive program. It's called Power Saver Rewards. All customers have to do is to get credits on their bills is to conserve energy on days when electricity is in high demand in California. Customers can earn $2 per kilowatt hour on their next bill. You can sign up on SDG&E's website. Well, when surfers are out in the water surfing, it's not unusual for them to see dolphins and seals swimming around them. But what is unusual is this: for a seal to haul itself out of the water and up onto the surfboard. That's what's happening at Tourmaline Surf Park, where a seal pup is hanging out with surfers right there on their boards. CBS 8's Sean Stiles has the story.
Tourmaline Surf Park is known for just what the name says, a great place to come surfing if you're a longboarder. But over the past couple days, videographer and drone operator Ed Hartel has noticed something quite extraordinary out in the water.
4 days ago, a baby seal appeared, so I came out 3 days ago to see if he was still around.
That doesn't sound unusual, but it's this next part that is.
Basically, he swims board to board, jumping on the different surfers' boards. He'll sit there for 5 or 10 minutes and then paddle out to another surfer's board, and he just does it all morning long.
According to Ed, there were eyewitness accounts to why the pup is now orphaned.
Well, some surfers saw a great white come into the point here and eat its mom about 3-4 days ago. And ever since then, the baby's just been stuck there.
At this point, the seal shows no signs of distress.
Seems to be healthy, seems to be happy. He just has this weird behavior where he wants to be around the people and on their boards.
This surfer was out this morning and saw the seal.
This morning we had a little seal out there surfing with us, swimming around next to us. It looked pretty calm. It looked like it was fishing or something like that. Couldn't really tell. But, you know, it was out there for about half an hour.
Hartel told me that the city of San Diego and SeaWorld have been contacted.
There's been some calls to Park and Rec to pick up the carcass, as well as to SeaWorld to come out to monitor the baby seal. They've sent teams out. The seal is healthy. There's nothing wrong with it, so they can't do anything with it.
The reason for that is if the seal is not stranded on the beach or not injured, it needs to be left alone, which is what, for the most part, surfers are doing.
None of the surfers are touching them or anything. They're very respectful of the seal space. They're letting them do its thing. It's just quite odd that it keeps jumping up on the surfboards.
So SeaWorld has got their hands tied. It's a catch-22. They can't do anything with the seal in the water. And if you do encounter that seal in the water, do not pet it or encourage it to get on your board. They are a protected animal. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
I mean, truly, that is so incredible to see, and heed that warning. If you are out at Tourmaline surfing, just remember that they are protected and you should not touch them. All right, well, just because something is old doesn't mean that it can't find a fresh new look. As we take you in the Zevely zone, Jeff gets a sneak peek at Belmont Park's new rebrand.
A facelift at 98? Sounds great. Belmont Park is 2 years away from her centennial celebration.
You know, you always want to come out with something fresh, something new.
Madison Sinclair says, what better time for the park's first top-to-bottom rebrand?
Everything from sweatshirts to hoodies to shirts.
At 98 years old, Belmont Park is toasting her first beer ever.
You can crack it open if you want to try one of those. Might be a little early, I don't know.
Could be a little early, could be on the clock. This is the Beach Blaster. I'm usually a yes man at Belmont Park. A ride that's never been ridden before. Hello, old friend. I was the first person ever to ride that one. In 2005, they needed someone expendable to see if the Beach Blaster was safe for humans. You can feel those G's, there's no doubt about it. Are you excited? Yeah! In 2018, I also took the first ride on their remodeled roller coaster. The Giant Dipper has had some ups and downs. It survived 3 fires. That's back when a teal and salmon train looked like an episode out of Miami Vice. San Diegans took on the Whirl Until You Hurl car giveaway when people like our own Scott Hall refused to get off. The Giant Dipper was restored to its original red and black paint scheme, and now, opening in just a few weeks.
This is the new ride here at Belmont Park. This is Shipwreck Cove. You have to pull yourself up. We're going inside.
The park also has a new escape room.
There's a secret switch in here. Yes, we have 2 separate rooms in here, so you have to make sure that you pull the right book. Oh, that opens that one.
Oh. That's where you can trap yourself inside.
The Scooby-Doo room.
And if you need motivation to solve the mystery, would you do it for one Scooby snack? If escape rooms let me out of here! Make you claustrophobic too? Are you competitive?
I am.
The park's arcade is 1,600 square feet bigger with 14 new games. Hey! In 2005, I'm not sure what was the bigger mistake. Oversized khaki pants or gorging myself before the spin rides.
So this is the birthday cake funnel cake.
Madison then showed me the park's new treats.
What could possibly go wrong?
Belmont Park has a new look.
Oh, no!
And she's ready for you to give her a whirl. In the Zevely Zone, Jeff Zevely, CBS 8.
Yeah, Jeff, with those fun assignments. Well, batteries, though, are being used at a higher rate around the world to power everything from your remote control to your electric vehicle. But not as much progress has been made in the technology inside those batteries. One San Diego-based company is trying to change that, and our Evan Narani visited them in this week's Earth 8 report.
It's a battery boom heard around the world. As technology advances as quickly as it has, so does the need for more reliable and more robust battery storage.
Now that we have this growing revolution, there's a much more of a drive to create batteries that are much more environmentally resilient, much more stable, much larger, right?
It's a shift that South 8 Technologies, based out of San Diego, is playing the long game for, creating a first-of-its-kind liquefied gas electrolyte that can make battery storage more temperature resilient and safer, among other things.
The liquefied gas electrolyte makes an inherently safer chemistry within that battery. So if it were to fail, it would very much limit the tendency for it to catch fire and cause additional hazards for any users nearby.
Safety is paramount for all applications out there. So we see this as a great opportunity to really be able to introduce this new technology to the market for a variety of different applications.
And it's a massive undertaking for the team of 25, but they say their technology could easily integrate into today's factories.
Today's batteries, they operate anywhere from about freezing to maybe 50 degrees Celsius, which is maybe 100 degrees Fahrenheit or so. We're developing batteries that are going to be a wider range, everything from the coldest nights in Alaska all the way to the hottest summer days in Arizona. So that's everything from minus 60 degrees Celsius up to plus 60 degrees Celsius.
They say the push comes as batteries are now required to power larger undertakings like electric vehicles, buildings, and even the grid itself.
At least here in America, we kind of swap out our phones every 2 years, right? So you only need your phone to last 2 years, whereas a car, you want 20 years lifetime, right? So it's just a completely different set of requirements that we're asking of this battery technology.
The innovations out of South 8 are even being funded by the Department of Energy with a multi-million-dollar grant, saying to reach the aggressive government goals, this next generation technology will be all the more necessary.
We are fortunate and lucky and proud to be San Diegans, and we're definitely looking forward to see our products in the vehicles that are running on the streets of San Diego. So it's amazing.
I'm Evan Narani, CBS 8.
Wow, good stuff, Evan. Thank you. As always, thank you for your time. Thanks for staying informed. Be sure to join me each week as I take you around San Diego. For CBS 8, I'm Jenny Day. Take such good care.